5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. We are live now. You may begin.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dennis Valladares. Welcome to today's conference. I am very excited to introduce our presenter today, Karen Giselle Varela Ardon, who will be talking about labor expectations of English students at UPNFM. Karen Giselle Varela Ardon is an English teacher at Escuela Normal Bilingüe Guillermo Suazo, Córdoba, La Paz, La Paz. She graduated from Universidad Pedagógica Nacional Francisco Morazán in the master's program in educational research and as a bachelor from the English program in the same institution. Karen has been working as an English teacher for around 10 years in public and private institutions. She was part of the English department from 2016 to 2019 in Santa Rosa de Copan campus, and from 2020 to 2022 in Centro Regional de Gracias Lepira. Moreover, she has been participating as a trainer in some public institutions such as DGTP from CEDU. So please welcome Karen Giselle Varela Ardon. The stage is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here with me today, because from my point of view, this topic is really important. I saw Marta Solórzano that she was participating in the research from Gracias Lempira, and I think someone from La Ceiba. Well, we are going to start with the presentation. Just let me share my screen. And just give me a second, please. Here we are. Well, the labor expectations of the English students at UPNFM. As you already know, we are a public institution. I think the cheapest institution around Latin America. And we are very lucky to have the English program at UPNFM. But what is the situation? I decided to do research in this topic because there was a phenomenon. Asking to my students during the time that I was working at UPN, I discovered that some of students were telling me, I don't want to be a teacher. I want to speak in English. I want to learn English, but I don't want to be a teacher. And how is that possible if the institution is a pedagogical institution? Well, just to give you the contextualization of the problem, if you review the international setting of teaching English, all the words that you are going to find agree that English is an important skill required by the labor market. And in some continents like Asia, countries that are in Asia and Europe, they are very interested in connect the labor market with the academy, because there is a disconnection between these important parts of the society. How is that possible that university is not connected to the labor market? We are graduating people without knowing what is the market wanting at the time. Well, the countries in Europe have been very successful because they have make this connection, and they agree that English has become a lingua franca in the market. But there is a problem in Latin America. I don't know if you know what is that in dialogue. The dialogue, Inter-American Dialogue, is doing research around Latin America. And they have discovered, in the reports, they discovered that in Latin America, there are no tests that can certify English teachers with high proficiency of English or low proficiency of English. We are graduating teachers without knowing what is the level of English that they have, and if they are going to be able to work or to do to be capable of work in the demand of the labor market. As you already know, Honduras is in Latin America, and the situation here is worse because we know what is the problem in the public system. The public system is just offering a curriculum where 3 hours are taught per week. And the UPN is graduating hundreds of students every quarter. So there are a lot of English teachers, but there are not enough positions to hire these people. And the private institutions are absorbing some of the teachers. But what about the rest? The positions are not enough. So what is happening with the English teachers that are in the society without working? Well, maybe they are doing something else that is not related to teaching. Maybe they are working in call centers, or they are working in some service attendants, or they are working at something else. But our real context is the UPN. What is the UPNFM going to do? What with the problem that is happening in the institution? And if you go inside of the UPN, you are going to go to the program of English. And if you ask the students about their expectations, you are going to see the results in this work that was done in 2021. But maybe little changes can be updated. But these are the real thinking of students. Just to justify the work, I don't know if you know, but UPNFM, they have some branches where you can do research. So the institutional perspective was related to that teaching profession. The social relevance of this work was the opportunity, that the information that we are providing to have the opportunity to introduce curricular changes, because that is more than important, is a need for UPN to make curricular changes. The theoretical value, the theory of the social learning by Alvin Bandura was taken, and this theory has like a sub-theory, which is telling us about the cognitive theory of the career development. This Alvin Bandura is telling us that we learn by observing. We are learning by imitating the people who are surrounding us. And if, for example, at home, your family is telling you, you know, if you learn English, you are going to have more opportunities. Or if you heard in somewhere with your friends, oh, I am earning a lot of money in call centers, you discover that English is an important skill that is required in the labor market, and that is going to become your goal, that is going to become your expectation. So Albert Bandura used this theory to explain many things, but we were focused in the social cognitive theory of the career development. Moreover, once that we justify the work, we divide the process in 3 stages. The first stage is the theoretical foundation that has to do with the importance of English as a second language in the labor market. There are many studies that have been working. Right now, there is a study that some institutions are developing in order to provide information to the university, to let the university know what are the needs of the labor market. And then we also do research in educational and economy and the social learning theory, as I mentioned before. The second phase was just to establish what was the methodological frame. We state the problem, the contextualization that you already saw, the design, variables, categories of analysis, the data collection procedures. And finally, and for me, the most important part of a research are the findings and the final reflections and the conclusions. Sometimes we have the opportunity to provide recommendations, but to get findings is like the point where we have to work very hard. The general objective of this research was to analyze the labor expectations of the English program students at Universidad Pedagógica Nacional Francisco Morazán. To achieve this goal, we established five specific objectives that were, First of all, we needed to characterize the graduate profile. If you go to the website, to the UPM website, and you check the program of English, you are going to find what is that graduate profile that the program expect to have, but regarding its potential incorporation to the labor market. After that, another objective was to identify the perception of students of the teaching English program regarding the development of the 4 macro skills of the language, the target language, and their possible incorporation into the labor market. After getting those expectations regarding the 4 macro skills, those expectations were compared, but this time those expectations were compared regarding the incorporation to the labor market according to the location of the campus and the previous English training and that students had and the sex of students. And finally, the description of the expectations of the teachers from the English program. That means not the students that are going to be teachers, are the teachers those teachers that are working in the program of English. Well, those were the specific objectives. As I told you, we wanted to know what was the theoretical framework. And there were considered 2 theories. Why? Theories. The theories about the labor expectations that met what we were looking for are the Victor-Broom expectancy theory that talks about motivation. It has to do with the program of English because you need motivation to learn another language. If you are not motivated enough, your learning is going to be slow. It's going to be like not in the proficiency that we want to get. And if you have no clear goals, you don't have motivation. So that's why we talk about Victor-Broom's expectancy theory. And the most important theory that sustained this research was the Albert Bandura's social learning theory, that is the social behavior theory that has a sub-theory, as I was explaining before. And this has to do with a specific concept, that is self-efficacy. What is self-efficacy? Self-efficacy is you feeling capable to do something. If I feel capable to speak in English, I am going to look for a job that has to do with speaking. I'm not gonna go to a call center if I know that I cannot speak English very well. Or we think teachers should go to work as teachers if they don't have the exactly level of English that they need to teach and to be in front of students. But what is the problem at the UPN? We don't have a test that can certify that you have a high proficiency level of English. We are graduating. I'm graduated from the UPN, and I have never received like that. I got good grades, but I needed to have like a TOEFL test maybe that is certifying that I am capable to do what I was supposed to do. And this is going to explain, these theories are going to explain the results of the research. Just to give you what was the methodology that we were using. Well, this was a mixed method because we use qualitative and quantitative information. The research design was non-experimental. We were not doing an experiment. It was transversal and it was relational comparative. The population were the students of the English program around the country. And this is the importance of this research, that it was not in one campus, because all students around the country were asked and were considered as possible population to participate in this research. Moreover, we include the English program coordinators. Why the coordinators? Well, in the English program, there are teachers that are working just some quarters, not all the time, but the coordinators stayed and they know the students that are part of the program, and they know what are the classes that students are taking in the program. The sample, well, we have the population, and from the population, we took a sample. The sample was one sample of coordinators and one sample of students. They were volunteers. And when they are volunteers, that is obviously that they are not, it's not a random sample. That is a sample of volunteer students. But something important is that we got the 69% of the units identified. Why I use the word identify? Well, we were looking for students that were supposed to participate, and they needed to have some characteristics. Were those characteristics, or that they already passed the 4th level of English? We think that when you already pass the 4th level of English, you can speak English enough to take the specific pedagogical spaces in the program. So this sample, it has a representation by volume, but the number of students participating. That means that the findings were taken from a big number of students with the characteristics that we selected. And the data collection tools, we used 3 tools. The first one was a survey. It was self-administrated because we sent it through WhatsApp. We sent a link with the survey, and students, they answered by themselves. And then we have a semi-structured questionnaire that was like a guide to make an interview. And we had 2 interviews, to the coordinators and a guide to make the focus groups, where students around the country from the different campuses were participating. This is just the methodological framework. And here is what I was explaining before. We have a universe. The total of students in 2021 were 1,084 students. Students from Tegucigalpa, San Pedro Sula, La Ceiba, Juticalpa, Santa Rosa de Copan, Gracias, and Nacaome were participating. And you are going to tell me, but there are more campuses around Honduras. Yes, there are more campuses around Honduras, but that they have the English program, just these campuses. From the universe, we got the information that, for example, in Tegucigalpa, from 404, just 200 have the characteristics that we needed, and so on with the rest of the campuses. So from 1,084, we got 515. And from this population, we took the sample that they were 359. And that in percentage represent the 69.7%, which is a big sample just to have the validity that we need to do any kind of research. Well, to make the long story short, and this you can prove it by yourself, you can go to the UPM website and you can look for the English program. There you are gonna find what is the program's entry profile. You are supposed to have a profile to enter to the program. But what is another problem that we are having at UPN? When you enter to the English program, there is not like a specific thing that they require. You go and you take a test, but in the test, what are they asking for? They are asking about Spanish, math, science, general information that we have to learn in high school. But if they are asking you about, for example, vocational things, or if you want to be a teacher, or you just want to learn English, or if you are capable to learn the language, because if you already know, there are multiple intelligences, and people who are really good for math, sometimes they are really bad for linguistics. And the other way around, sometimes we are really good at linguistics, but we are really bad at math. So we don't have a real test that can tell you if you are able to enter into the program. many people are facing challenges there, and they fail classes because they don't have that intelligence to acquire languages. I'm not saying that that is impossible, but I'm telling you that you are going to face many problems if you don't have that intelligence. It's like if you don't know how to dance and you try to dance, you are going to look very weird in a party, right? So trying to do it, but you can do it. I'm not telling you no. Well, once that you check that, we check the program's entry profile, we went to the general objectives of the curriculum. What is happening there? I don't know if you know that the UPN is one of the best universities around the country. It's public. It has the best teachers. They have a lot of qualities, and they have like good profiles, good professionals. But UPNFM is just focused in the teaching field. And this is becoming a problem because there is a population problem. We are not going to need more teachers. Technology is coming. There are many families that they just have one children. So we are not going to need a lot of teachers. So what do the UPNFM is going to do with our students? What do the UPN has to do to solve this problem? Well, and finally, the occupational, you are going to find in the same place that I am telling you, you are going to find the occupational goals for former students of the program. And you are going to find that we can do research, but mainly we have to teach English. Even the market doesn't have enough spaces, we have to teach. So here is the part where we have to discuss. According to the objectives that we have at the beginning, we have to show the characteristics of the graduate's profile of the program regarding to their potential incorporation to the labor market. And the first finding that we had is that the program is assuming that all students at UPN are acquiring a good level of English. They have a good command of English, but they are not considering the fields of words that students have. Okay? If you check the profile of the program, they are just considering teaching. But students at the UPN, they have other kind of expectations. And here I have what students are saying. There are many students that they know that learning English is really important, and they know that learning English is gonna give them the opportunity to get jobs. It doesn't matter if it's in teaching, they are gonna get a job because the need, the economical need. And students are saying, and I'm gonna read it as they said, I think it is the best decision. This is what the students are saying. Because when I graduate, I will have many job opportunities. That is what students are thinking, not only in teaching. So they already know what is the reality of the country, and they are having other kind of expectations. And the second one said, I always look up to learn another language. Well, I know that English opens many jobs opportunities, and I know that you can not only work as a teacher, but in other areas. So students are learning English, according to Bandura, they got what the environment is telling them. There are not a lot of opportunities as teachers, but if you learn English, you can have other opportunities. And here is the perception of the English students when it comes to the development achieved in the 4 macro skills of the language. And the people who are in the program, who are getting graduated this year, they receive the program, most of the program, online. And what are they saying? Well, according to the possible incorporation to the labor, they are saying that there is a correspondence between two variables, that acquisition of the 4 macro skills and the incorporation of the labor market. They know that if they improve in any of the skills, they are going to have the possibility to work, to get a job. And most students, listen, this is really important and it's touchable, because students are saying that the ability to speak in English, they mean speaking, is the one they have developed the least. Students consider that speaking, tell me someone who says, well, an English teacher who says that cannot speak English, that is impossible. But students are saying, we think that we have developed speaking very well in a low level. And we were looking for the spaces to work. Students say, the spaces that we can, the workspaces that we can have are call centers, are service attendants, are teachers, they say teachers, are like translators. But for those that I mentioned, what do you need? You need the speaking. That is the most important ability that they have to acquire if they want to enter in those workspaces. So here is where we apply the self-efficacy of outdoor bandura. If I feel that I am able to do something, I am going to go to apply. It doesn't matter if I am a teacher, I need a job, and I'm gonna go. I know I can speak, and I can get that position that is over there, even though it's not as a teacher. Well, I did something that I need to close here. All right. There is evidence of clear relationship between the job expectation with the previous training in English. What happened in the English program? And that's why I'm talking about the entry test. We have two kinds of population at UPN. Some people that already speak in English, that they know they already received training in English, and some people that are going to learn English in the levels. And from my point of view, this is something personal. I think 4 levels are not enough. 5 levels are not enough to learn English. But we have these two kinds of students. The student that already received training, that is coming from a bilingual school, or they already received courses, and the students who are learning English at UPN. And you can see the difference in the classroom. So the relationship between these variables are that if you already receive English training, you are going to feel very capable to develop any position because you already know English. But your expectations are going to change if you are still learning. And there is something important that I want to remark here, that is in order to enter to the program, we should select students, not because they speak English, but at least to know if they are able. And this here, there is a private institution, I don't want to mention the name, but if you are gonna take a course at that institution, they apply a test to you just to tell you, hey, that this is not your intelligence. We are going to provide a service, but it's going to take more time for you to the rest of our students. It's what UPN should have. But that is another story. I don't want to lose the point. Here, and this is I think the third one, the third objective, where we compare the labor expectation of the English students regard their incorporation into the labor market and according to the place of studies. And something interesting happened over here. The results show us that in Tegucigalpa, San Pedro Sula, La Ceiba, students are talking about get a job in the call centers. And some students are already working in call centers. But what happened in Nacaome, Santa Rosa de Copan, and Gracias, they are talking about tourism. They say, okay, we are gonna be teachers. If we get a position as a teacher, good. But if not, I am gonna work as a tourist guide, or I am going to work as a translator. And that is something that is giving us idea, how can we open the English program to give the opportunity to the students to have other kind of programs, not just teaching. Good for those who want to be teachers, because to be a good teacher, you need to be like that vocational part. It's not just speaking English. One thing is speaking English, and another thing is know how to teach someone else. And if you want to teach as a teacher, good, we have the program. But what else do we have to offer the society? And here we have that, again, the Bandura indicate that here we have stations according to our environment. What is happening in, for example, in the western part of Honduras, they want to be teachers. They say, yeah, we are very proud, we are working hard, and we want to be teachers. But it's in a really high percentage of Tegucigalpa and La Ceiba, they feel that self-efficacy, as Bandura said, and they think they can work in other fields. And here is something that we have to discuss. When applying the unidirectional analysis of variance, it's called ANOVA. It's a statistical test to compare the arithmetic means of the average and the responses of the job expectations according to the place of study. There is an important point that when they achieve a good level, or when they have a good proficiency of English, they think about working in something else, not as teachers. So you see how the theory is like matching what students are thinking about learning English, not the profession of teaching, because they already know what are they going to be. And here I have this graphic that is telling us, look at this, the 41.9% of students that were participating, they tell us that they want to finish the program and they want to get a job as an English teacher. That is really good for UPN. But what about that 24%? They told us that they want to get a high proficiency of English, and they want to get a job as a teacher. Look, and you are going to tell me what is the difference between the first one and the second one. Well, the first one, they are not talking about the proficiency in the 4 macro skills. They are talking about finishing the program. I don't care how I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish. I have to get graduated. But in the second one, they are talking about, I need to have a high proficiency in speaking, in reading and writing and listening. That 13.7%, they say that they want to learn English and they want to continue with another program. That means that they are going to finish the level 4 or the level, I think, basic, and then 4 more levels. They are going to finish the levels of English. They think they are going to learn enough English, and they are going to continue with another program in another university. They want to be lawyers. They want to be something else. But what they are doing is using the UPN as an academy, a cheap academy. So that can result in a problem. And finally, that 20.3% they are saying that they want to learn English and to get a job apart from teaching. And here is where the problem can be, the phenomenon can be established between these two, the 24 and the 20. Are similar numbers. We have a percentage that is very close. So we have to be aware of what our students are thinking, because this was in 2021. What is happening in 2023? We should update this information, because the students that are graduating this year were the ones that were participating in this research. So we have to be careful. And here we have the description of the professors. The professors at UPM, they are telling us that according to the campuses are the job opportunities. And they know that students are gonna get opportunities of different kind of jobs, but they are conscious that the public system of education is really hard. Why is really hard? Because the way how they are hiring people is, let's say, it's not the proper, it's not legal. And I am the example of that. I get graduated in 2013. And you know how many classes do I teach in the public school? Just 15 hours, because I cannot complete my academic charge. And it's very difficult. I am working in the private system because it's the private system is giving me the opportunity. But I would like to work in the public system, but I have to wait someone to go outside of the system and get that position. But 10 years have passed, just waiting and waiting and waiting and applying and applying and applying, and the public system is not providing enough positions. Coordinators also said that the students who are more fluent in English, they are like diversifying the fields of working. And this diversification is growing and growing, because they are, for example, in Santa Rosa de Copan, the coordinator told us that, well, some of my students are working as teachers, and they in the program they want to be teachers, but some other students are working in different fields. But what happened in La Ceiba? In La Ceiba is related to the social factors around the city. And here we have what some teachers said. It says, yes, La Ceiba has a strong tourism component. And you are going to ask me, but La Ceiba has the programs of tourism. But what is the problem with the program of tourism? That they are not teaching enough English. So our students of English are working in that field, because they can go and they can be guides. Continue reading here. So there are many options. Although the universities have the option of the tourism degree, these people are not bilingual, so students are presented with the opportunity to be tourist guide. For example, in Janet Caguas Park, I have found students who have not dedicated themselves to teach, but to tourism. In addition, there is a new growing trend in the area that call centers are already arriving. Here, hospitality and tourism, there is a good opening. Receptionist, customer service, call center are large spaces. This was a person from Tegucigalpa. And I think, I don't know if you realize that socio-economical situation is like having an effect. Why? Because La Ceiba and Tegucigalpa are big cities. What is not the same situation in Gracia, Santa Rosa, and Nacaome, or Olancho, Juticalpa, where the opportunities are less opportunities. So in Nacaome, we have very few opportunities. In the Department of Valle, the great opportunity is working in bilingual school. But how many bilingual schools do you need to receive all students from UPN? You need a lot. and they are not working in high schools. They are working in matter subjects. For example, I have some students that they are teaching math, or they are teaching social studies, or they are teaching science, or they are teaching something else, but not in like high school, because you already know that bilingual schools, they have like they bring people from other countries to teach the target language. And the situation in San Pedro Sula, the person who was in the interview said, I have seen some years now that some students work in call centers, and others go to the United States and work in the areas related to teaching. I don't know if you have heard that many teachers of English are going abroad, because some companies are like offering the opportunity participate in other kind of programs that are offering the opportunity to go. But how many students are going from the program? If 600 are graduated, just 5 or 6 are going abroad. Others continue studying. Well, and here, just to give you like a clear view of what is this theory of social cognitive. Look, if we feel that we have self-efficacy in an area, we are gonna get a goal. But from where do I get this self-efficacy? First, outcome expectations can be physical, social, or self-evaluative. I can evaluate myself and I can say, I can speak English. Maybe I can work in something else than teaching. So the social structural factors that are facilitators and impediments. There are people, for example, there are teachers at UPN that are telling you, no, you cannot speak English, you are not going to work, like, or you should go from the program. I don't know if that is happening, but as the theory said, this is from these factors where you can have self-efficacy. You have self-efficacy and you establish your goals. And according to your goals, it's going to be your behavior. You know that in call centers are requesting people, you are going to work very hard to learn English, but you are going to be focused in speaking, because in call centers, they need you to speak, not to write, not to read, and listening. But if I know that I am going to work in a computer just writing with this new technologies that we are having, so you are going to get interested about the things that your goals are, according to your goals. That is the point that I want to say. And just to finish, because it's almost time, these are the conclusions. Despite what is established in the English program curriculum regarding the occupational profile of its graduates, a significant percentage of students do not expect to teach. And hey, this is a very highlight call into the UPN. If a significant percentage of students do not want to be teachers, something is happening and needs to be solved. And number 2, there is a correspondence between self-assessment of students regarding to the level of English proficiency and the occupational spaces in which they are considered themselves capable of performing. The types of jobs expectations are going to be according to the place of residence. That is the conclusion. If I am living in a big city, my expectations are going to be different from the people who are living in Olancho or Nacaome or Gracias. And the characteristics of the labor market have been assuming in the different cities where the university campuses are located. This is generating new occupational options for people who are fluent in English. And the last one, the labor expectations that part of students have can be explained by applying the social learning theory of Albert Bandura. By the way, who is Albert Bandura? Is an American, well, he's Canadian American psychologist who has many theories. It's not a theory, it's not just this one. What are the recommendations for according to the results, right? This is not like I am going to recommend UPN to do what I want them to do. Is what students are saying, and our students are like the life of our university. The first recommendation is that the curriculum of the English program should be reviewed, and I think this is the year that is going to happen, in order to consider curriculum options and allow meeting the growing demand of the young Honduras students to learn English. The second one, the UPN should implement an admission plan that allows identifying the level of English proficiency of the applicants to enter. Why? Because students who already know English, they don't need to waste the time in the 4 levels. They should be doing something. And the number 3 is to implement a graduation plan, which involves an standardized exam to find out the development that students have achieved in the 4 macro skills. It's like what this the TOEFL is giving you, is certifying that you are capable in the 4 macro skills. And that's all by my side. Thank you so much for being here with me. I don't know if you have any question about this.
Dania Canales has a question.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not a question, but congratulations. I really like this conference and important information to know.
Thank you. I really appreciate what you said.
If anyone else has a question, you can just raise your hand, or if you just want to make a comment, you can also go ahead and do it. If you do not want to turn on your microphone, you can type it on the chat section and we'll read it out loud for you. If there are no questions, then I would like to thank Ms. Ardon for taking the time and telling us about this very important matter. I am pretty sure the audience found everything you have to say very meaningful, very important, and very crucial. I would also like to thank the audience for joining us today. And I also would like to welcome you and to go back to the Sway link so that you can also access to the following sessions. And that will be it for today's presentation. Thank you once again, Ms. Ardon, for taking the time and being with us here today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a lovely day.